Good afternoon, New Orleans. I bring you greetings on behalf of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. My name is Anthony Bridges, and I'm a Vice President and Community Development Lender with NOLA Lending Group, a division of Fidelity Bank. And I have today as my guest, Mr. Eric King. We're excited to have Mr. King of the King Law Firm here with us as we tackle this discussion on this week's broadcast. But why don't I have him introduce himself real quick?
Well, good afternoon, New Orleans. It's a pleasure to be here with you. My name is Eric King. I work in the King Law Firm. I manage the financial oversight of the firm itself, working with our clients and helping them take their claims and that they receive and make sure that they get the financial education and literacy and help them implement a plan to keep their money to do what it is that it needs to do. So we obviously operate in the law firm and in personal injury and trust, wills, and all the things that normally you would find at a law organization. I think we do it very well. And we have the option, by having an internal financial person, we have the option to go that next step and help them not only get justice, but also provide them with the education to continue on their legacy or whatever it is that they're trying to do.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, for those of you who do not know, the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce is a resource and voice for black businesses and entrepreneurs in the New Orleans region. We support, promote, and educate our members for sustainable growth and expansion through advocacy, networking events, access to educational resources, such as business and professional development trainings, as well as other business resources and technical assistance. With me, I also have our current board chair, Mr. Ed Smith.
Good afternoon. I apologize for my tardiness, but greetings and salutations, and I thank all of Radioland for being tuned in. So we got a lot to talk about. We got a distinctive guest with us today. Originally supposed to be his dad.
My cousin.
His cousin. All right. Judge Attorney C. Hunter King, my good Zulu brother, and the good Alpha man. And I'll send shout outs to all the Alphas. Happy Founders Day. To all the Deltas, happy Founders Day. And today, to the AKAs, the ladies of Alpha, Kappa, Alpha, happy Founders Day.
Oh, happy Founders Day, ladies. So, look, we're going to jump right into it. So, Mr. King, I know that the King Law Firm has been a partner of the Regional Black Chamber of Commerce for some time now. Tell us a little bit about why you all choose to partner with the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce.
Well, we just believe that community involvement is the pillar of our strong community, and it's also one of the solutions to a lot of the things that we see going on. And we realize that strong communities build strong families build strong entrepreneurs, and you know, we're here in the land of opportunity, not necessarily the land of jobs. And so we want to empower, educate our youth and our black community in the advantages and how to get through the steps of owning your own business, and that goes right along with, home ownership and business ownership and structuring ourselves correctly so that we can create legacies and pass them on from generation to generation. So we find that it's ultimately important that if we're really going to make a change, we start in our communities, start building stronger families build stronger youth, and stronger youth builds a stronger future.
Well, that kind of led right into my next question that says, how has the work that you all are doing contributed to shaping the local community, especially in terms of justice and equity?
Well, I think we as our community, we don't have a really good firm understanding of how the justice systems work. And, if you don't understand how the game is played, it's really hard for you to win. And I think we take a lot of losses, and not because we need to take the losses, but we take losses in our community because we don't understand the justice system as a whole. And so what we try to do is not only do we represent our clients, but we really spend a lot of time trying to educate our clients, and so that that the next time or their family members don't find themselves in the same predicament, because some of it was preventable. If we understand the rules of the road, let's say, then they can position themselves to be in a better position and not get caught up on things that most of the times could have been prevented. Probably there was no malice involved in their intent, but they just didn't understand how things work, and so they did things improperly, and that caught them in a jam. And so we try to educate our communities and our clients and their families to get in a better position.
Okay. How has your work contributed to shaping the local community, especially in terms of justice and equity?
Well, again, we talk about by educating our community folks, and we've reached out. We have community events that we participate in, all trying to bring them the idea that, hey, if we do things differently, that we'll achieve a different result. And so we think that the education that we bring, the understanding that we have of the district attorney system and the prosecutor system, and getting our community better aligned with things is very helpful. But we also work and have worked inside the DA's office and things of that nature to try to improve what things come to court, what really makes a difference. And and when Judge King was on the bench, he was very instrumental in shaping equity and justice for the people of our community. So I think we have a track record of really participating not only in the justice system, but also educating the community to try to get them in a better position.
Right. So as you maybe talk to aspiring entrepreneurs, or through connectivity with organizations like the Regional Black Chamber of Commerce, who will typically bring business owners, entrepreneurs, individuals into a setting to have the opportunity to speak with somebody like you or Judge King, like what is some advice that you might have for an entrepreneur that's struggling, maybe having some legal or financial challenges, whether it's just navigating my goodness, whether it's just navigating everyday challenges, dealing with like the city, trying to navigate contracts and things like that. What are some pieces of advice you might offer to young entrepreneurs?
Well, the first thing I would say is advice. Advice and mentorship is just key. Getting proper advice is critical because just from the very beginning, as an entrepreneur, trying to operate a business without a business plan. I mean, these are some of the things that are basic fallacies and causes entrepreneurs, especially young entrepreneurs, to struggle, is because they're caught off guard a lot. And a lot of that can be prevented with a business plan. So we try to encourage our entrepreneurs to say, hey, let's start with a business plan. Let's identify the market that you're trying to operate in. Let's identify some resources that can help you out, like the Black Chamber of Commerce, like the Small Business Association. Let's get a staff around you, even though you're a small business. Let's get people around you that can help you. You need to have a lawyer around so that they can help you with the contracts and the negotiation of the contracts and making sure that you're submitting a valid contract, that you can do what it is that you're saying you're doing, or what they're asking on page 17 on the 13th paragraph that you didn't get to read to. Get somebody to read that so you don't get hemmed up. And then financially, what is your budget? What are you operating? What's your operating expenses? Can we help you negotiate a better deal for where you think your office needs to be? I mean, so those are the types of things, because most entrepreneurs, they're passionate about the business that they're in, and they're really good at that part. But what gets them caught up is everything else. And the everything else is the stuff they don't like to do anyway. Mm-hmm. So rather than do it, we put it off, and then it becomes a problem. So we find that if you get the right advice around you, if you get a financial guy, you get an attorney around you, find yourself a mentor that's been where you're trying to go, that these basic things will help you alleviate a lot of the struggles that you have on, because you've identified your market, you know where your niche is, and you can just go off and prosper at that point.
Okay. So I know the King Law Firm has been very instrumental in the growth and everything that the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce has done in the past. So we want to move that forward. We want, as we now are in the mid month. I mean, in mid January. This year is already moving fast. It's already moving quickly. So we do foresee some things and some events that we will be asking y'all to help with us to put on, and particularly some of the legal stuff that many of our members do have problems with. So we want to have y'all to come in to do workshops or things of that nature to show our members and to help our members to reach their goals and to reach the next level.
Yeah. And I think again, that's where organizations like the Regional Black Chamber of Commerce come in, is just connecting those opportunities to businesses that may not know that they need those type of services, right? Because we all see contracts all the time, and we think we're smart enough to be able to navigate that contract and make the right decision. But it takes a real expert in that to say, hey, you missed this fine print, right? And a lot of times they don't always make it fine print. Like, it is clear
Right.
and obvious, but it's not always in your best
In their plain
interest.
sight.
And how do you talk to a young entrepreneur that may say, well, I don't have the money to hire an attorney, or I don't have the money to hire a CPA? I guess having them understand how important certain key pieces are when it comes to the success of their business. What type of advice would you give to individuals in that situation?
Well, if you talk to anybody that's got hemmed up, they'll tell you that they didn't have the money not to hire a CPA or an accountant or hire things. But we try to approach it from a economic. It's let's be smart about it, right? You don't necessarily need a full-time attorney. You don't need a full-time CPA, but you need to pay for advice at critical points in your juncture, right? So setting up your organization, that's a critical point of your business. You know, should I be an LLC? Should I have an Inc? Should I be an S corp? Should I be a nonprofit? This is a critical positioning of your company, and at that point, you should pay for information and pay for an expert for that juncture of your company. Now, that doesn't mean you have to have a lawyer full time, but you're going to need one. So it's nice to have one that helps you on the front end, on the structure side of the house. Same thing with a CPA. You might need one at tax time, but you might get away with hiring a bookkeeper part time to help you with your books, so that things are so organized that when you get to the CPA for tax time, it's going to cost you a lot less, because he doesn't have to spend hours and hours pouring through all your stuff, because you had picked up a part-time bookkeeper that met with you once a month or once every other month and made sure your books are right. Now your cost of doing your taxes for that CPA goes down, because the things that get hemmed up is, if you can't pay taxes, the IRS isn't playing around. They're going to shut you down. And that's a critical problem. And a lot of times we could have avoided that problem by a couple simple steps. Engage an attorney at the beginning, engage a bookkeeper along the way part-time, and then now we've reduced the cost of what it would cost us, rather than going to a CPA with a box full of receipts and
Right.
a hope and a prayer, right? We need a plan.
So some might be asking, what's this New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce, and why should I be a part of it? I'll stop right here and give you three reasons. Reason number one, the buying power of black businesses is on the rise. More and more large companies are looking to partner with work and minority business. Partner and work with minority business. Then number two, the same population of large companies and agencies seek out NORBCC, which is us, because of our ability to effectively connect minority businesses to opportunities. And a third reason, because there's plenty more, but creating opportunities for our members is our top priority. It is our goal to ensure our members' businesses and organizations bring value to the business community, are competitive, and be sustainable for future generations. So if you ever thought, why should I join the Regional Black Chamber of Commerce? Those are three ways. And now I'll tell you how. You can visit our website at norbchamber.org. That's the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber at norbchamber.org. You can contact our current board chair, Mr. Edward B. Smith. And how do they get a hold of you, Mr. Smith?
They can either reach me at norbcc.chairman@gmail.com or Zulu Witch Doctor 2022 at gmail.com. And the first one was norbcc.chairman 2025. Let's make sure the 2025 is in there. at gmail.com.
All right, and before we get back to our question, I just want to plug one event that we have upcoming. Although you're going to be slated for a slew of events happening in 2025, but I want this to be on your calendar now. November 21st is going to be our 12th annual our 12th annual NORBCC Golf Classic. We're super excited about the opportunities that this is going to bring. We had an amazing 2024 event. If you weren't out there, there's a video out there somewhere, and everybody's having a good time. Businesses are networking. We were able to create meaningful contact and connection amongst all of our vendors and guests present. So save the date, November 21st, Friday. It's the week before Thanksgiving and Bayou Classic, and we're going to be in for a time. So, Mr. King, back to you. So what role do you think organizations like the Regional Black Chamber of Commerce play in economic growth within the city of New Orleans and our greater New Orleans region?
Well, I think first of all, just as being a resource of folks that has your best interest at heart, as a Black entrepreneur, as a citizen of the New Orleans regional area, having somebody that's looking out for my interests and understand the challenges that are specific to me is always helpful. And so, just as a resource center alone, its value is immeasurable. But when we move on further than that, the networking opportunity of other businesses that I need to do business with. So, like we have a strategic partner with Platinum Strategic Services, right? They're a financial firm and a financial planning firm. We use strategic partnerships and alliances, and through through a networking event that we met at the Black Chamber, because there are other Black businesses in the area that we need services that we could utilize for. So the networking opportunity is not just a matter of finding folks that can actually help, use your business, but businesses that you can find that you can use and you can utilize. So you have networking, you have resources. I mean, those two things are probably the two keys of making your business successful. If you've got the right resources and the right network, you're bound on a train of success. Oh, yeah. And so, I'm thinking, that alone is worth the price of admission. You should just entertain that idea that, hey, if I get the right resources and I find the right network, then I will be successful.
Now, we do have a slew of events coming up in 2025. So stay tuned. We have our women's event that's coming up in April. Our policy luncheon that will also be in April. We have our men's event in June. Our golf classic, as Brother Anthony said, will be in November. And then we have Holiday on the Boulevard in December. So we're going to ask each and every one of you to come out to these events, to support these events, and not only to support them, to be a part of these events. And so go ahead and put it on your calendar. We will let you know specifically what dates they will be so you can be there. And we ask everybody, all you have to do is just be there. And if you have some sponsorship dollars that are burning the hole in your pocket, please reach out to us, because as everything has a cost. So therefore, we ask you, penny, nickel, dime, quarter, just donate it to us.
Because it's definitely a good cause, right? So just having the ability to be able to create these opportunities where for us to support us at the end of the day, that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to advance Black businesses, support Black business, make sure we're strategically placing Black dollars within Black businesses. And that's just another resource and opportunity for the Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. So, Mr. King, what resources or programs would you recommend for chamber members to better understand those legal matters that are related to their business that we know are very, very important to the success of their business?
Well, not to put in a shameless plug, but I think they need to reach out to the King Law Firm and from the very beginning, or even as a review, to figure out if they're in the right place and are they structured correctly, because for sure we can assist with that. And the next thing, I think they need to reach out to our financial arm. They need to be talking to us about the finances and about paying themselves first, and about how to manage dollars and how to operate on a budget, not just in your business, but overall, so that we can start creating not only successful companies, but successful families and legacies and multi-generational wealth. I mean, these should be the big ideals I think that we're looking at, and it starts with the small steps, right? It starts with getting your structure in correctly. It starts with having a budget to run your operation. It starts with knowing your market and going after that particular market, understanding your ideal client and seeking out your ideal client, finding out where your ideal client resides and where they live, and we need to be changing the narrative. Black business should represent an excellent product, right? It should be a symbol of excellence, not necessarily an accommodation. So we need to change the narrative around not only we do things, we do it right, we do it better than anybody else. I mean, the idea of your business, it should be to be the best it could possibly be and to be the best in the city. So if I'm flipping burgers, I want it to be the best burgers in the city. I want people to talk about it's the best burger in the city. It just happens to be owned by a Black entrepreneur, but the bottom line, it's the best burger in the city. It's the best law firm in the city. It's the best financial firm in the city. That's what the goal is to be the best serving our clients at a level that's extremely high, and happens to be owned by a Black entrepreneur, happens to be a Black business, but the idea is that it's a business of excellence.
Amen. So that was not a shameless plug. That's exactly what you want. What we want you to do when you come on this radio show with us. If you're a member of the chamber, we want you to promote your business. We want to help you promote your business. So we will be calling people and as I said earlier, reach out to me so you can be our next guest, one of our many guests, because we will be on the show every Wednesday at 12 noon. So between now and December, the end of December, I have not counted all the radio shows, but we have a plethora of them that you can be sitting in the seat talking to the rest of the WBOK radio land to get your business out there, to get more people to come and patronize your business.
Yep. So we Mr. King, we know community involvement is is very important. So what initiatives or causes is the King Law Firm passionate about within the Greater New Orleans region?
We're so high on education. I mean, we do the backpack school for kids. We partnered up with the Angel Reese Foundation to do a give to teachers that to help their communities and to help their classrooms for underserved communities. We thought that was a fantastic way of reaching out, because everybody reaches out to the students, but we actually had a teacher reach out and it was received amazingly. So that was a great partnership. And so we try to partnership with folks in the community that are bringing value to our community and see how we can help and participate and in a law firm, education is always one of those things that we're very high on. So that we can get more Black professionals out serving our community to get to that next level, whether that's masters or PhDs or law degrees or doctorate degrees. It all starts with education. So we try to do most of our community events in the educational field.
I love it. That's similar to what we do at Fidelity Bank and NOLA Lending. Again, as my role as a community development lender, I specifically spend time out in our low to moderate income communities, just looking for opportunities to educate, to build, to to just help people thrive and understand that some of the complexities or some of the things that they may think are barriers to even home ownership, their financial well-being. We tell people your financial health is just as important as your physical health, right? Because it needs it, and just building communities throughout. So I'd love to hear more about, just personally and through my organization, about your education initiatives, because I think there's some opportunities for us to connect on some similarities on the way we think on some things.
Oh, no doubt. I think you're right on, though. But your financial health affects your physical health.
Absolutely.
Because when you're worried about your money, you ain't sleeping right. All kinds of things. You get your stress levels up.
Right.
That's bad on your heart.
You can't eat with no money.
It is ultra important. So we're always looking for an opportunity to host some financial literacy and do some things within folks to help them out.
So what's and I know we're coming up on time. I told you 30 minutes passed by super fast. I guess time flies when you're having fun. That's what they say. But what's maybe one or two pieces of advice that you would leave for individuals, whether it be entrepreneurs or just individual community members. It doesn't necessarily have to be legal advice, but from an inspirational standpoint, a motivational standpoint, what's one piece of advice you'd want to share?
I think that the best thing I could share with folks is getting your finance in order, because the root of all stress comes from dollars and cents. If you're not paying yourself first, if you're not organizing your money, if you're not telling your money what you want it to do, and that's just simple. You know, you decide the most important thing you want your money to do, and you tell it to do it, and then you go to number 2. What's the second most important? And 3. What's the third most important? You know, that way we don't have to call it a budget because it sounds restrictive. But if we look at it as the priority of what we're going to tell our money to do for us, that we went out and earned and made, we're going to tell it what to do, and so that it's always doing the top things that are on our priority list. Then when it gets down to the things that are lower on the list, it's okay if they don't happen. You know, and so that would be the first thing I would tell folks to do, and that in itself will alleviate stress in your life. Right. And that will also give you opportunities to do things like create multi-generational wealth. We think that's so out of reach, but it's not. We know that if you can find a way to pay yourself first, maybe $50, $100 a month, if you do that long enough, you'll be a multimillionaire. So it's not a we can or we're not able to. It's we can. We have to change how we do things, and that I think is the key. The resources are out there, and we have the capability to do it. Let's just change how we do things so that we can get a different result.
Mr. Ed, you got a piece of advice or a final thought?
Last Monday on the 6th, we celebrated King's Day. And in the words of Al Johnson, it's carnival time. So with that being said, we got a lot of things that are coming up in New Orleans, in the city of New Orleans, although we had the massacre on the 1st. But now we have Super Bowl that's around the corner. In a couple of weeks, we will have Super Bowl here in New Orleans. And then right after that will be Mardi Gras, where everybody and their mom and their cousins and all of them will be here for Mardi Gras. So let's keep in mind, let's lean on each other, let's pray for each other. But also, while we're doing all of this, let's also now have some fun. Next week, our guest will be the CEO of Inspire NOLA School System, Mr. Jamar McNeely. So please tune in, especially if you go to any one of those schools. Parents, students, whomever, grandparents, tune in to the New Orleans Region Black Chamber of Commerce radio show. And like I said, we will be doing this every Wednesday from here to the end of time. So
New Orleans, on behalf of the 2025 Board of Directors of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce, our member businesses, our co-host, Mr. Ed Smith, and our very, very special guest, Mr. Eric King, we wish you greetings and have an amazing rest of your day.